Hey everybody, I'm Jeff. I'm today just gonna make a quick video on a great way to remember glycolysis, also the citric acid cycle. A couple of mnemonics that helped me remember not only the steps, where stuff landed in the whole process, but the enzymes as well, which can also help you kind of remember how many carbons are left and what's happening with what. So. The first one for glycolysis is going to be goodness gracious Father Franklin did go by perfect pumpkins to, and we're going to exclude that, prepare pies. Okay, so as you can see here, goodness gracious, Father Franklin, I spelled gracious wrong, did go by perfect pumpkins to prepare pies. So a bit of alliteration, kind of a tongue twister, but pretty easy to remember. Goodness, that's going to be glucose. So obviously remember glycolysis is breaking down glucose so that we can make energy for the body. That's going to be the first one always, glucose. Gracious, glucose 6-phosphate. Father, fructose 6-phosphate. Franklin, fructose 1,6-biphosphate. And then we're going to move into the situation where fructose 1,6-biphosphate gets split into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, G3P. Our next episode is going to be here, 5. Did dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which then gets turned into G3P, and that's going to be go. Bi-perfect pumpkins, so we go down to biphosphoglycerate, 1,3-biphosphoglycerate, step 7. Pumpkins, 3-phosphoglycerate. 2, now we're just going to exclude this. We just include this just to make this sort of make logical sense so that you can remember it. Go buy perfect pumpkins, prepare pies. Doesn't really work. I guess you could put in a semicolon, but just remember that this isn't going to be one of the products of glycolysis. So prepare, we're going to go to 2-phosphoglycerate, and then, pumpkins is going to be 2-phosphoglycerate. Prepare is going to be phosphoenol pyruvate. And then pies, pyruvate. Pi for pyruvate. So just always remember the end of glycolysis is going to be pyruvate. And so our second mnemonic, and this is going to be help you to remember the enzymes, is hungry Peter Pan and the growling pink panther eat pies. Now this is kind of nice because pies is also the end, so pyruvate, pi, but these are going to be the enzymes. So H hexokinase, Peter, that's going to be your phosphoglucose isomerase, pan phosphofructokinase, and aldolase, T triose phosphate isomerase, and that's going to take dihydroxyacetone phosphate to G3P. So remember that this step here, that's going to be technically 2 separate steps. Growling, that's going to be glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Pink, phosphoglycerate kinase. Panther, phosphoglycerate mutase. Eat, enolase. And then pies, that's going to be pyruvate kinase, which Yeah, so that brings you to pyruvate. So this is great for MCAT stuff, cell bio stuff, biochemistry stuff, and then, so remember, goodness gracious, Father Franklin did go by perfect pumpkins to, we're gonna exclude this, prepare pies, and for the enzymes, Hungry Peter Pan and the Growling Pink Panther eat pies. All right, and now I'm gonna kind of erase this stuff, and I'm gonna show you some mnemonics for the citric acid cycle as well. Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm just gonna go over some mnemonics to help you remember the citric acid cycle. I went ahead and put up the whole citric acid cycle up here, kind of in the usual circle that you're used to. I do have all the enzymes, all the products. I also have acetyl-CoA up here. I'm not going to include this in my mnemonic. You just have to remember that acetyl-CoA acts with oxaloacetate to make citrate and start the citric acid cycle. I also included a lot of the other products that aren't going to be included in the mnemonic, like NADH and protons, as well as CO2. These are important things to remember as well. Luckily, the citric acid cycle is set up in a way, as far as naming, where if you know what the enzymes are, isocitrate dehydrogenase. Dehydrogenase, you're going to get a proton, and therefore you're going to get an NADH. And in this situation, you're also going to get a CO2. So that's going to tell you that you're going to go from 6 carbons to 5 carbons. Dehydrogenase complex, NADH, and H+. Malate dehydrogenase, NADH, and H+ as well. G2P, kind of just have to remember it, that it's kind of in this middle area right over here. And as far as FADH squared, this is a dehydrogenase as well. Just kind of remember it's right before fumarate, but it's gonna, you'll be able to remember it a little bit better when I let you know what the mnemonic is. Anyway, the mnemonic for the citric acid cycle that I use. Can I keep selling suckers for money, officer? All right. Can I keep selling suckers for money, officer? All right, and you can change this around if you like. But I like suckers, so it helps me remember. Can citrate. That's gonna be the first step. Start out with citrate. Isocitrate. Pretty easy. Keep alpha-ketoglutarate. Now, I know there's this alpha here. It's kind of tricky. Just remember ketoglutarate, and then you can kind of just hopefully remember alpha as well. Selling. Succinyl-CoA. Suckers. Succinate. Suckers, succinate kind of works. For fumarate. F for fumarate. Money. Malate. And then officer, oxaloacetate. All right, so that's going to help you remember all of this stuff as far as the products go for the citric acid cycle. Now, if you want to remember the enzymes, you can sort of use the same mnemonic. You just have to do 2 things. One, you got to get rid of officer. There's no enzyme in here that starts with an L. The other thing you have to do is just to remember AI. Can AI keep selling suckers for money? All right? And that's because of aconitase here. So, as far as the enzymes go, C, citrate synthase. Now that's going to take acetyl-CoA, which is oxaloacetate, and that's going to give you citrate. All right? And that's your first thing. So technically kind of at the end or the beginning, depending how you look at it. A for AI, aconitase. I, isocitrate dehydrogenase. And there's that dehydrogenase, can kind of tell you there's going to be a proton and an NADH and CO2 as well. K, alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex. S, succinyl-CoA synthase. Another S for suckers, succinate dehydrogenase. 4, fumarase. And M, malate dehydrogenase, and that brings you back to citrate synthase at the beginning of the cycle. So these work great for me. I go into the exam and I write them down on the paper immediately so that I don't forget them. Because it's just nice to go back and not have to worry about, okay, you know, is K before S and all that stuff. This stuff's great for cell bio, obviously. This stuff is great for biochem, and any of y'all pre-med people, you need to take the MCAT. You need to know a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, goodness gracious, Father Franklin did go buy perfect pumpkins to prepare pies. Hungry Peter Pan and the growling Pink Panther eat pies. And then can I keep selling suckers for money, officer? And can AI keep selling suckers for money? All right, happy studying.